Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to embark on a really intense, focused deep dive into an incredibly fleeting micro-moment of internet media. You know, we interact with literally thousands of pieces of digital content every single week, right? And we usually just swipe right past them in mere seconds without a second thought. But today we are going to stop scrolling. We're going to freeze the frame, pull out our magnifying glasses, and rigorously deconstruct a single, incredibly specific visual challenge. We're looking at a piece of media known simply by its highly clinical file designation, ytshorts_2.mp4. On the surface, it asks a very simple question. But beneath that surface? Well, there lies a fascinating psychological architecture designed entirely to capture your attention and direct your behavior. So get ready, because we're going to unpack exactly how a few words and a visual puzzle can engineer a profound digital transaction.
So here is the foundational text we're working with today. I really want to present this with deliberate pacing, because this is the entire operational thesis of the media we're analyzing. Ready? If you found the real Ronaldo, subscribe and like the video. Just kind of sit with the gravity of that sentence for a second. It's brief, sure, but it honestly functions like a dense philosophical text. It's not just some casual suggestion, it is a meticulously crafted conditional statement. In exactly 14 words, the creator establishes a challenge, sets the parameters for success, and immediately issues a demand for payment. This single sentence is literally the engine driving the entire interaction we're looking at today. And we're going to break down every single component of this mechanism to understand why it works so incredibly well in the human brain.
Now, before we even get to that conditional demand at the end, we're hit with the title itself, Find the Real Ronaldo, followed by a single isolating cold face emoji. This immediately establishes the core mystery, doesn't it? It creates this high-tension problem of visual deception. Identifying the real Cristiano Ronaldo based on the provided challenge is suddenly framed not as a passive viewing experience, but as a high-stakes mission. And that cold face emoji, man, it's chilling. It implies real pressure. It suggests that the task of identifying the actual Cristiano Ronaldo amidst whatever visual noise or manipulation is going on requires an icy, unwavering focus. It sets a mood of intense concentration way before your brain has even fully processed what you're looking at.
To truly grasp this, we have to playfully but seriously define what the real actually means in this specific context. By commanding us to find the real Ronaldo, the creator is instantly communicating a terrifyingly brilliant premise. Your eyes are currently being tricked. In this context, the real represents the authentic figure existing among assumed fakes, duplicates, or illusions. So, by explicitly asking you to find the authentic one, the source material is literally guaranteeing that there are inauthentic ones present. Your baseline reality is shattered the moment you read the prompt. You're suddenly placed in a visual arena where you can trust absolutely nothing, and your only goal is to sift through the digital illusions to locate the singular truth, the authentic Cristiano Ronaldo. It's just an incredibly powerful way to force you to hyperfixate on the details of a screen.
And we absolutely cannot ignore the environment where this high-stakes search takes place, ytshorts2.mp4. The digital format itself, explicitly denoted by this raw, unpolished file name, acts as the ultimate restrictive canvas. This isn't a feature-length documentary where you have hours to deduce the truth, right? The very nature of this file type dictates that this is a rapid, completely transient experience. It is a burst of data meant to be consumed in an absolute instant. And this format fundamentally shapes our perception of reality. It means the visual deception we just talked about is happening at warp speed. You have to find the real Ronaldo, and you have to do it in the blink of an eye before the algorithm sweeps you away to the next piece of content. The pressure here is entirely structural.
So the crucial point is, why do we do it? Seriously, why are we searching? Take a second to reflect on your own active participation in these digital spaces. When commanded to find the real Ronaldo, why doesn't our brain just say, "No thanks, I'm good," and move on? Well, it taps into a deep, primal psychological drive. Humans are inherently problem solvers. We are literally pattern recognition machines. When we're presented with a puzzle, especially a visual one that promises a clear resolution, like identifying the one true authentic figure among imposters, our brains practically compel us to solve it. We crave that dopamine hit of cognitive closure. The creator of this micro-moment knows this for a fact, and they are leveraging our own evolutionary biology to keep us locked onto their content.
Which brings us to the actual architecture of the trap itself. This sequence reveals the exact psychological and physical journey mandated by the creator. Step 1 is the involuntary search, triggered by that human nature we just talked about. Step 2 is the cognitive victory. You find the real Ronaldo. But notice how seamlessly the simple act of looking transitions into a rigid set of instructions? Because immediately following the cognitive victory of Step 2, we are hit with physical demands. Step 3, subscribe. Step 4, like. The creator has taken a totally self-contained mental exercise and tethered it directly to an outward physical action that benefits them. You aren't allowed to just find him and be satisfied. Your journey simply isn't complete until you execute the final 2 physical steps of the sequence.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this conditional logic creates 2 distinct realities. We have state A, you've found him, which inevitably leads to the action of subscribing and liking, versus state B, you didn't find him, which implicitly requires no action at all. This binary is honestly a stroke of manipulative genius. By setting up these 2 distinct states, the creator is essentially telling you that not interacting with the content is an admission of defeat. Think about it. If you scroll past without subscribing and liking, you are placing yourself in state B. You are implicitly admitting to yourself and the algorithm that you lacked the visual acuity to identify the real Cristiano Ronaldo. It brilliantly turns inaction into a mark of failure.
And this brings us to what I call the conditional trap. It all hinges on the very first word of our source text, if. If you found the real Ronaldo. That single word establishes a totally brilliant transactional snare. It tightly binds the viewer's pride and their visual success directly to a digital action. The word if makes the entire following sentence a test of your competence. Did you pass the test? Well, if you did, you must pay the toll. It takes your internal feeling of accomplishment and immediately monetizes it into engagement for the creator. The pride you feel in successfully spotting the real Ronaldo is instantly hijacked and converted into pure leverage.
So let's look closely at exactly what is being leveraged from you. Subscribe and like. It is so vital that we frame these 2 specific directives not merely as standard, benign buttons on a user interface. No way. In the context of this micro moment, they are the explicitly demanded currency of this digital economy. The creator is not politely asking for your support because you enjoyed the artistic merit of the visual challenge. They are invoicing you. You played the game, you found the real Ronaldo, and now the bill is due. The subscribe and the like are the precise denominations of digital capital required to settle your account with the creator.
I really want to dramatically emphasize the number 2 here. This represents the exact dual transactional cost required from the viewer to validate their completion of the puzzle. It isn't enough to just like the media. It isn't enough to just subscribe. The source material explicitly demands both, subscribe and like. The creator is maximizing the extraction of value from your single, fleeting moment of visual success. It's basically a multi-layered toll booth. You have to hand over a token of immediate approval, the like, and a token of long-term commitment, the subscription, all in exchange for the momentary satisfaction of having picked the authentic image out of a lineup.
And this brilliantly illustrates our ultimate psychological masterstroke, the concept of proof of success. Because the search happens entirely inside your own head, right? There is absolutely no way for the external world to know you actually succeeded in identifying the real Cristiano Ronaldo. Engaging with the content becomes the only accepted proof that you actually conquered the visual challenge. By subscribing and liking, you are effectively signing a public register declaring, I am smart enough and my eyes are sharp enough to have solved this. The digital engagement stops being about the creator entirely and becomes a necessary vehicle for the viewer's own ego validation. The trap is sprung, and the viewer just happily locks themselves right inside it.
Which leaves us with this final lingering thought to conclude our explainer today. Who is really winning the challenge? Is it the viewer who spots Ronaldo, or the creator who captures the subscription? You know, when you finally identify the real Cristiano Ronaldo amidst all those illusions, you feel like the victor. But based on everything we've mapped out today, the conditional traps, the extraction of dual currencies, the weaponization of our own problem-solving instincts, it forces a pretty radical reframing of this entire micro-moment. It leaves us to fundamentally rethink the true nature of every single digital exchange we encounter. So the next time a screen challenges you to find the truth, ask yourself, what is the actual price of your discovery? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Stay curious, stay focused, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.